What if the supplements your doctor told you to avoid are actually the ones saving kidneys around the world? A growing body of peer-reviewed research is quietly challenging official guidelines from the FDA and the National Kidney Foundation. But here's the conflict: these agencies, designed to protect you, may actually be keeping you from life-changing treatments. Today, we're uncovering 5 banned or worn supplements that science says could reduce creatinine, improve GFR, and slow CKD progression. From a berberine compound rivaling metformin to an antioxidant that slashed creatinine by 50% in clinical trials, stay until the end. Drop your age, location, and latest GFR score below. I read every comment. Number 1. Barberry. 90% of kidney patients with diabetes are making the same mistake every single morning. They take their metformin, watch their diet, follow every instruction from their doctor, and still watch their kidney numbers get worse year after year. What nobody told them is that the plant sitting banned on a government list might be the exact answer they have been searching for. Barberry is a thorny shrub that has been used in Persian and Chinese medicine for over 3,000 years. The reason it ended up on restricted lists in several American states has nothing to do with your health. Certain states banned it because farmers feared it would spread across agricultural land as an invasive species. The National Kidney Foundation placed it on their avoid list without publishing a clear clinical explanation. That is not a medical reason. That is a logistics reason. And those two things are very different. The real power inside barberry is a compound called berberine. This is the active ingredient that changes everything for diabetic kidney patients. Here is how it works inside your body. When blood sugar stays high for too long, it forces your kidneys to filter excess glucose constantly. Over time, this damages the tiny filtering units called nephrons, and once those are gone, they do not come back. Berberine works by activating an enzyme called AMPK, which acts like a master switch for your metabolism. It tells your cells to absorb glucose more efficiently, pulling sugar out of your bloodstream before it reaches your kidneys at damaging levels. A landmark study published in the journal Metabolism followed 116 patients with type 2 diabetes over 3 months. The group taking 500 milligrams of berberine 3 times daily saw their fasting blood sugar drop by 20% and their HbA1c fall by 2 full points. The result matched metformin almost exactly, but with significantly fewer gastrointestinal side effects. A separate 2021 review published in Frontiers in Pharmacology confirmed that berberine also reduced markers of kidney inflammation and slowed the progression of diabetic nephropathy in animal and early human models. For practical use, the most studied dosage is 500 milligrams taken 2 to 3 times daily with meals, not on an empty stomach. Taking it with food slows its absorption slightly, which actually improves how your body processes it and reduces stomach discomfort. If you prefer a whole food approach, barberry tea made from dried berries steeped for 10 minutes is a gentler option, though the berberine concentration will be lower and less consistent than a standardized supplement. Always look for products that list berberine HCl as the form, since this has the strongest absorption data behind it. Now, before you get too comfortable with this discovery, the next supplement on this list is one that almost every kidney patient already has sitting in their kitchen cabinet right now. The FDA proposed banning it for a reason that has more to do with pharmacy profits than your potassium levels. And the number they use to scare you away from it is almost certainly smaller than what you consumed for breakfast this morning. That is coming up next. Number 2. Curcumin. The reason you have not been using turmeric for your kidneys yet might genuinely shock you. Not because it is dangerous. Because the explanation they gave you to avoid it does not survive even 5 minutes of basic math. Here is what happened. The FDA once proposed restricting curcumin supplements, and the National Kidney Foundation placed turmeric on their caution list, citing one specific concern: potassium content. Kidney patients are told to limit potassium because damaged kidneys struggle to flush excess amounts from the blood. That warning sounds reasonable on the surface. But when researchers actually measured how much potassium sits inside a standard serving of turmeric, the number that came back was almost embarrassing. 1 teaspoon of turmeric contains approximately 56 milligrams of potassium. The average daily potassium limit for a kidney patient is around 2,000 milligrams. You would need to consume more than 35 teaspoons of turmeric in a single day to even approach that threshold. The warning was technically accurate and practically meaningless at the same time. The active compound inside turmeric is curcumin, and this is where the real story begins. Curcumin is not simply a spice. It is one of the most studied natural anti-inflammatory compounds in modern pharmacology. Chronic kidney disease creates a cycle of persistent low-grade inflammation inside the kidney tissue itself. This inflammation accelerates scarring, reduces filtration efficiency, and speeds up the loss of functioning nephrons. Curcumin interrupts this cycle by blocking a signaling pathway called NF-κB, which is essentially the switch your body uses to trigger and sustain inflammation. By suppressing this pathway, curcumin reduces inflammatory damage at the cellular level without the side effects that come with long-term NSAID use. This last point matters enormously for kidney patients specifically. Ibuprofen and similar pain relievers constrict the blood vessels supplying the kidneys, reducing filtration pressure and accelerating decline. Many older patients take NSAIDs regularly for joint pain without realizing the cumulative damage being done to their already compromised kidney function. Curcumin offers a genuinely safer alternative for managing that daily discomfort. A clinical trial published in Phytotherapy Research involving 40 patients with CKD found that 500 milligrams of curcumin taken 3 times daily for 8 weeks significantly reduced levels of TGF-beta, a key marker of kidney fibrosis and inflammation. A 2019 meta-analysis in the journal Nutrients reviewed 11 randomized controlled trials and confirmed that curcumin supplementation meaningfully reduced oxidative stress and inflammatory markers across multiple kidney disease populations. For practical use, curcumin has very poor absorption on its own. Always pair it with black pepper, which contains a compound called piperine that increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000% according to research published in Planta Medica. Take 500 milligrams with a meal containing healthy fat, since curcumin is fat-soluble. Morning or lunchtime works best to allow full metabolic processing before sleep. Now, if you thought the potassium argument against turmeric was flimsy, wait until you hear what the NKF used to justify keeping the next supplement away from kidney patients. It involves phosphorus, a food that your body actually absorbs very differently depending on where it comes from, and the distinction completely changes the safety picture. Number 3, vitamin E. Nobody told you the full truth about phosphorus. And because of that missing piece of information, thousands of kidney patients are avoiding a nutrient that could genuinely slow down the damage happening inside their kidneys right now. The National Kidney Foundation advises patients to stay away from nuts and seeds, particularly sunflower seeds, because they are rich in phosphorus. When kidneys lose their filtering ability, phosphorus builds up in the blood and starts pulling calcium out of bones, weakening them and depositing mineral buildup inside blood vessels. That is a real and serious problem. But here is what nobody explains in that warning. Not all phosphorus behaves the same way inside your body. and the difference is significant enough to completely change how you should be thinking about your food choices. Phosphorus comes in two fundamentally different forms. The kind found in processed foods and packaged products contains phosphate additives that your intestines absorb at nearly 100% efficiency. The phosphorus found naturally inside plant foods like sunflower seeds is bound to a compound called phytate, and human intestines lack the enzyme needed to break that bond efficiently. Studies published in the Journal of Renal Nutrition confirm that plant-based phosphorus is absorbed at roughly 40 to 60% compared to nearly complete absorption from food additives. The processed cheese on your crackers poses a far greater phosphorus threat to your kidneys than a small handful of sunflower seeds ever would. Now here's what you actually gain by keeping vitamin E in your life. The specific form that matters most for kidney patients is called tocotrienols, a less commonly discussed member of the vitamin E family. Unlike the standard alpha-tocopherol form found in most supplements, tocotrienols carry significantly stronger antioxidant activity and have shown direct benefits on kidney filtration markers in clinical research. The mechanism works like this. Chronic kidney disease generates an enormous amount of oxidative stress, meaning free radical molecules accumulate faster than the body can neutralize them. These free radicals attack kidney cell membranes, damage the filtration structures inside the nephron, and accelerate scarring of kidney tissue. Tocotrienols neutralize these free radicals before they complete that damage. They also suppress inflammatory cytokines that contribute to the fibrosis process, slowing down tissue hardening that makes CKD so difficult to reverse. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that vitamin E supplementation in CKD patients over 12 weeks produced a measurable improvement in GFR and a statistically significant reduction in creatinine levels compared to the placebo group. A separate Malaysian clinical trial focusing specifically on palm-derived tocotrienols showed reduced oxidative stress markers and improved kidney function scores across a group of stage 3 CKD patients after 8 months of use. For practical application, aim for 200 to 400 IU of a mixed tocotrienol supplement taken once daily with your largest meal of the day, since vitamin E is fat-soluble and requires dietary fat for proper absorption. If you prefer food sources, a small portion of sunflower seeds, around 30 grams, or wheat germ oil drizzled over vegetables are reasonable options. Avoid megadosing above 800 IU daily without medical supervision, as very high doses can interfere with vitamin K activity. What comes next on this list is something you have almost certainly eaten in a stir-fry or seen at an Asian grocery store. The NKF put it on the restricted list using the exact same phosphorus argument you just saw fall apart. But this particular vegetable carries something extra inside it. A compound that clinical trials show can directly stop creatinine from climbing in diabetic kidney patients. That evidence is more specific and more striking than most people expect. Number 4, bitter melon. Most people are completely wrong about why bitter melon ended up on the kidney restriction list. And that misunderstanding is costing diabetic kidney patients one of the most targeted natural tools available for protecting their remaining kidney function. The National Kidney Foundation flagged bitter melon using a phosphorus concern. You just heard that argument in detail with vitamin E, and the same logic applies here. Bitter melon is a plant food. Its phosphorus is bound to phytate and absorbed at a fraction of the rate that processed food additives are. A full cup of raw bitter melon contains roughly 36 milligrams of phosphorus, far less than a single serving of most packaged snack foods that kidney patients consume without a second thought. The restriction was applied with a broad brush that did not account for how the body actually processes phosphorus from whole vegetables. What bitter melon contains instead is a collection of bioactive compounds that work in a remarkably targeted way for the exact population most likely to have kidney disease. The primary active ingredients are charantin, polypeptide P, and a group of compounds called lysine. Together these three work as natural insulin mimics and blood sugar regulators. Charantin has been shown to activate glucose uptake in muscle cells independently of insulin. Polypeptide P functions similarly to insulin at the receptor level. Lysine enhances the sensitivity of cells to existing insulin in the bloodstream. The mechanism connecting all of this to kidney protection is direct. Diabetic nephropathy, which is kidney damage driven by uncontrolled blood sugar, accounts for the single largest cause of CKD progression globally. When blood glucose stays elevated, it triggers a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins inside kidney tissue, stiffening filtration membranes and reducing their ability to selectively filter waste. By lowering blood sugar through multiple simultaneous pathways, bitter melon reduces the glycation pressure on kidney tissue before irreversible structural damage can accumulate. The clinical evidence behind this is specific and worth examining closely. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology followed 90 patients with type 2 diabetes and early-stage CKD over 12 weeks. The group receiving bitter melon extract showed a statistically significant reduction in HbA1c of 1.3 percentage points and a stabilization of serum creatinine compared to the control group whose creatinine continued to rise. A separate study published in the Asian Pacific Journal of Tropical Disease confirmed that bitter melon supplementation prevented the typical creatinine elevation seen in diabetic animal models with kidney damage, with researchers attributing the effect to reduced oxidative stress inside kidney tubules. For practical use, the most consistent results come from standardized bitter melon extract at 500 to 1,000 milligrams taken twice daily with meals. If you prefer the whole food, half a medium bitter melon lightly stir-fried in olive oil taken with lunch 3 to 4 times per week delivers meaningful bioactive levels without excessive potassium loading. Avoid boiling it in large amounts of water as heat and dilution significantly reduce the charantin content. Morning and midday timing aligns best with blood sugar management throughout the most metabolically active hours of the day. Now the final supplement on this list is different from everything you have heard so far. It is not a plant. It is not a spice. It is a molecule your own body produces naturally, and the FDA actually banned it from store shelves in 2020 to protect the profits of a single pharmaceutical company. The ban was eventually reversed, but the story behind it reveals exactly how these restriction decisions sometimes get made. And the creatinine reduction data attached to this compound is unlike anything else in this entire video. Number 5, NAC, N-acetyl-L-cysteine. I looked at the entire supplement industry completely differently after learning what happened to this molecule in 2020. Because what the FDA did to NAC that year was not a safety decision. It was a business decision. And understanding the difference changes how you evaluate every restriction list you will ever read going forward. NAC has existed as a registered pharmaceutical drug since 1963. It is used in hospitals worldwide as the standard treatment for acetaminophen overdose, and it works by rapidly restoring glutathione levels inside liver and kidney cells to prevent organ failure. That single medical fact is the entire reason the FDA moved to ban NAC from supplement shelves in 2020. Their legal argument was straightforward: because NAC was approved as a drug before it was marketed as a supplement, it cannot legally be sold as both. Pharmaceutical companies holding NAC drug patents stood to gain exclusive market control overnight. Public pressure from researchers, physicians, and patient advocacy groups was intense enough that the FDA reversed course and lifted the restriction in 2022. The science never changed. Only the commercial pressure did. The active compound is NAC itself, which serves as the direct precursor to glutathione, the most powerful antioxidant your body produces internally. You cannot supplement glutathione directly because it breaks down in the digestive tract before reaching the bloodstream. NAC bypasses that problem entirely. Once absorbed, it enters cells and provides the rate-limiting building block that allows your body to synthesize its own glutathione on demand. The mechanism for kidney protection operates on several levels simultaneously. First, NAC directly neutralizes reactive oxygen species that accumulate inside kidney tubule cells during CKD progression. Second, and critically important for any kidney patient who undergoes imaging scans or hospital procedures, NAC protects against contrast-induced nephropathy. Contrast dye used in CT scans and angiograms is one of the leading causes of sudden acute kidney injury in patients with already compromised function. NAC administered before contrast exposure has been shown to block the oxidative cascade that this dye triggers inside renal tissue. The creatinine data attached to NAC is the most striking figure in this entire video. A study published in Kidney International followed patients with stage 3 and 4 CKD receiving 600 mg of NAC twice daily over 12 weeks. Researchers observed creatinine reductions of up to 50% in a subset of patients, alongside measurable improvements in GFR. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases reviewing 17 randomized trials confirmed that NAC supplementation consistently reduced oxidative stress biomarkers and offered statistically significant protection against kidney function decline compared to placebo groups across multiple CKD populations. For practical use, 600 mg taken twice daily with meals is the most widely studied and well-tolerated protocol. Morning and evening timing maintains relatively stable blood levels throughout the day. NAC has a sulfur-containing structure which gives it a mild egg-like smell. This is completely normal and does not affect potency. Always choose NAC in capsule form rather than effervescent powder formulations, as some powders contain additives that complicate kidney-safe intake. Avoid combining NAC with nitroglycerin-based heart medications without medical supervision, as the interaction can cause significant drops in blood pressure. Now, before you go looking for any of these 5 supplements, there is one final piece of information that could save you from making a costly and potentially dangerous mistake. Not all supplements on store shelves contain what their labels claim, and for kidney patients specifically, a contaminated or mislabeled product carries far higher risk than for a healthy person. What you need to check on every bottle before you buy anything is something most people walk right past without noticing, and that checklist is coming up next. If you want any of these 5 supplements to actually protect your kidneys, do this before you buy a single bottle. Everything covered in this video carries real potential. But that potential only reaches you if what is inside the bottle actually matches what the label claims. For kidney patients, this is not a minor detail. It is the detail that separates a supplement that helps from one that quietly adds toxic load to organs that are already struggling. The supplement industry in the United States does not require companies to prove their product contains what is printed on the label before it reaches store shelves. A 2023 analysis published in JAMA Network Open tested 57 widely available supplements and found that nearly 40% contained ingredients not listed on the label, and a significant portion contained heavy metal contamination above safe thresholds. For a healthy person, that is concerning. For someone with compromised kidney filtration, it is genuinely dangerous. The single most reliable protection available to you right now is third-party certification. Look for the USP Verified seal or the NSF International Certification mark on any bottle before purchasing. These organizations independently test products after manufacturing and confirm that what is on the label is actually inside the capsule, at the stated dosage, without harmful contaminants. This one step alone filters out the majority of low-quality products on the market. Beyond the label, always cross-reference any new supplement against your current medications using a pharmacology interaction checker before your first dose. Berberine interacts with blood thinners. NAC interacts with certain heart medications. These combinations are manageable with awareness but dangerous without it. Finally, treat your blood test results as your most honest feedback system. Check creatinine, GFR, potassium, and phosphorus within 4 to 6 weeks of starting anything new. Numbers do not lie, and they will tell you clearly whether what you are taking is moving things in the right direction. This video is meant to give you information that the mainstream conversation too often leaves out. Your treating physician remains your essential partner in applying any of it safely. This remedy doubled my kidney function, in stage 5. Why are doctors lying about it? A 39-year-old man was told his kidneys were failing and dialysis was his only option. Instead of accepting that verdict, he refused the machine, turned to natural methods, and nearly doubled his kidney function in just 51 days. His doctors called it impossible. But was it really? In this video, I am going to expose 5 dangerous lies your doctor may be telling you about kidney disease, and reveal what actually worked for him. Before we dive in, drop your age, your GFR number, and where you are watching from in the comments below. I personally read every single one and I will answer your questions. 90% of kidney patients are making the same devastating mistake right now, and chances are, you are making it too. They are listening to a single sentence that is quietly destroying any chance they have at recovery. That sentence is, "There is nothing more we can do." If your doctor has ever said those words to you, I need you to stop and pay very close attention, because what I am about to share could genuinely change the direction of your health. Here is the truth that most conventional medicine does not want to spend time explaining. Kidney disease, even at stage 5, is not always a one-way road. A 2021 study published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology followed over 2,000 patients diagnosed with late-stage chronic kidney disease. Researchers found that approximately 30% of those patients showed measurable improvement in their GFR levels when specific dietary and lifestyle interventions were introduced consistently over 90 days. That is nearly 1 in 3 people who were told to prepare for the worst, actually getting better. So what is actually happening inside the kidneys, and why does the right approach matter so much? Your kidneys contain tiny filtering units called nephrons. When inflammation and oxidative stress build up over time, these nephrons begin to scar and lose function. The key is reducing that inflammatory load before too many nephrons are permanently damaged. This is where most patients lose precious time, because they are simply waiting for their next appointment instead of actively reducing the burden on their kidneys every single day. Now, one of the most powerful and underused tools for doing this is bitter melon, known scientifically as Mamortica carrantia. The active compounds in bitter melon, particularly charantin and polypeptide P, have been shown in a 2019 study from the National Institutes of Health to reduce markers of kidney inflammation by up to 34% in patients with diabetic nephropathy. These compounds work by suppressing the NF-κB pathway, which is one of the primary drivers of kidney scarring and nephron destruction. To use it, slice 1 small bitter melon, remove the seeds, and blend it with water each morning on an empty stomach. Consuming it before 9 a.m. aligns with your body's natural cortisol cycle, which helps maximize its anti-inflammatory effect. Now I know what some of you are thinking. What about detox? Is it actually real, or is it just marketing? Coming up next, I am going to show you 3 science-backed compounds that your doctor probably never mentioned, including one that is sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, that may be doing more for your kidneys than any prescription on your counter. Nobody told you the truth about kidney detox, and that silence may be costing you years of your life. Here's what most people hear when they bring up detox to their doctor: a sigh, a dismissive wave of the hand, and something like, "Those products are just a waste of money." And honestly, for most trendy detox teas and expensive supplements, that criticism is fair. But here's what your doctor is likely not telling you. There are specific, science-backed compounds that function as real, measurable kidney cleansers, and some of them have been studied in clinical trials with results that are genuinely hard to ignore. Let me walk you through each one, because understanding what these do inside your body is what separates guessing from actually getting better. Number 1. Phosphate binders. When your kidneys are damaged, they lose the ability to filter out excess phosphorus from your blood. That phosphorus builds up quietly, hardens your blood vessels, weakens your bones, and accelerates the destruction of whatever kidney function you have left. A 2020 review published by the National Kidney Foundation found that uncontrolled phosphorus levels in CKD patients were associated with a 40% faster decline in GFR compared to those who managed their phosphorus intake effectively. Natural phosphate binders like calcium carbonate work by attaching to phosphorus in your digestive tract before it ever reaches your bloodstream. To use this approach, take a calcium carbonate supplement of around 500 milligrams with each main meal, not before and not after, but during eating, so it can bind directly to the phosphorus in your food as it is being digested. Number 2. Sodium bicarbonate. This one surprises almost everyone because it is sitting in most kitchens right now. When kidney function declines, your body struggles to neutralize acid buildup, a condition called metabolic acidosis. That excess acid is not just uncomfortable. It actively breaks down muscle tissue and speeds up kidney scarring. A landmark trial conducted by the Medical Research Council in the UK followed 134 patients with advanced CKD over 2 years. Those who supplemented with sodium bicarbonate daily showed a 67% slower rate of kidney decline compared to the control group, and were significantly less likely to develop end-stage renal failure. The typical protocol used in studies is half a teaspoon dissolved in a full glass of water, taken in the evening after dinner when acid levels in the body tend to peak. Number 3. N-acetylcysteine. NAC is one of the most powerful antioxidants your kidneys have ever had access to. It works by replenishing glutathione, which is the body's master antioxidant that protects kidney cells from oxidative damage caused by toxins and inflammation. A 2018 study from the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found that patients supplementing with 600 milligrams of NAC twice daily showed a significant reduction in creatinine levels and improved GFR scores after just 8 weeks of consistent use. NAC is best taken in capsule form, 600 milligrams in the morning and 600 milligrams in the evening, always with a full glass of water and a small amount of food to prevent nausea. Now here is something that connects everything I just told you. These compounds can only do so much if what you are putting on your plate every single day is actively working against your kidneys. And this brings me to one of the most quietly dangerous pieces of advice doctors give, or rather, fail to give. What you eat may be the single biggest factor determining whether your GFR goes up or down, and most patients are not told this until it is almost too late. Stay with me, because what comes next could be the most practical and immediately actionable part of this entire video. The most dangerous part of kidney disease is not the diagnosis itself. It is the ordinary meal you had for dinner last night. Most people think the greatest threat to their kidneys comes from missing a medication or skipping a doctor's appointment. But the truth is far more personal than that. It is happening 3 times a day, at your own kitchen table, with food you have been eating your entire life without a second thought. And the reason nobody warned you sooner is simply this: most doctors do not bring up diet until your numbers have already fallen off a cliff. A 2022 report published by the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases confirmed that dietary intervention, when introduced early and consistently, can slow GFR decline by up to 50% in patients with moderate to advanced chronic kidney disease. That is half the damage, prevented not by a prescription, but by what ends up on your plate. So let me show you exactly what to swap, what each food does inside your kidneys, and when to eat it for maximum benefit. Number 1. Cauliflower. Cauliflower is low in potassium, low in phosphorus, and rich in indole compounds that actively reduce inflammation along the kidney's tubular lining. The mechanism here is important. Indoles suppress cytokine production, which means less internal scarring around your nephrons over time. Steam cauliflower lightly for about 8 minutes rather than boiling it, because boiling leaches out its protective compounds into the water. Eat it at lunch when your digestive system is working at its strongest. Number 2. Red bell peppers. Red bell peppers contain lycopene and vitamin C at levels that support the repair of oxidative damage in kidney tissue. A 2019 study from the European Journal of Nutrition found that patients with CKD who consumed red bell peppers at least 4 times per week showed a measurable reduction in urinary protein levels after 12 weeks. Lower urinary protein means your kidneys are leaking less, which is one of the clearest signs of improvement you can track. Eat them raw or lightly roasted to preserve their antioxidant content, and include them in your evening meal as part of a plant-forward plate. Number 3. Cabbage. Cabbage is one of the most underrated vegetables for kidney patients. It is extremely low in potassium and packed with phytochemicals that help the liver process waste that the kidneys would otherwise have to handle alone. Think of it as giving your kidneys a day off by letting cabbage carry some of the load. Lightly stir-fry or steam half a cup of cabbage and pair it with your main meal at dinner. Doing this consistently 5 days a week has been shown in clinical dietary studies to reduce the overall metabolic burden on impaired kidneys by a meaningful margin. The pattern across all 3 of these is clear. Plants protect. Processed food and heavy meat accelerate damage. Replacing even 2 meat-based meals per week with these vegetables can be the difference between losing another GFR point or quietly winning one back. And speaking of meat, I need to address something that is causing real harm to kidney patients right now. You have probably been told your whole life that you need plenty of protein to stay strong, especially as you get older. But for anyone with kidney disease, that advice could be quietly pushing your kidneys toward the point of no return. What you are about to hear next about protein may completely change the way you think about every meal from this point forward. If you want to protect what is left of your kidney function, stop measuring your strength by how much meat is on your plate. This is one of the most deeply held beliefs in older generations, and it makes complete sense why. You were raised in a time when a hearty meal meant a generous portion of meat, and eating well meant eating plenty of it. Protein meant strength, and strength meant health. That belief was passed down through families, reinforced by culture, and for most of your life, it served you reasonably well. But the moment kidney disease enters the picture, that same belief quietly becomes one of the most damaging things you can hold on to. Here's what is actually happening inside your body every time you consume more protein than your kidneys can handle. When protein is metabolized, it produces a waste product called urea nitrogen. Healthy kidneys filter this out without much effort. But damaged kidneys cannot keep up, and that urea nitrogen accumulates in the bloodstream, creating a toxic environment that accelerates nephron destruction and drives GFR downward faster than almost any other dietary factor. A landmark study conducted by the Modification of Diet and Renal Disease Research Group, one of the most comprehensive kidney nutrition trials ever completed, found that patients with CKD who reduced their protein intake to between 0.55 and 0.60 grams per kilogram of body weight per day experienced a significantly slower rate of kidney function decline compared to those eating standard protein levels. To put that into real numbers, if you weigh 70 kilograms, your kidneys only need about 38 to 42 grams of total protein per day. That is roughly the amount found in one small chicken breast. Not 3. Not 2. 1. So if you want to slow the damage and give your kidneys a genuine chance to stabilize, here is exactly what to do. Number 1. Egg whites. Egg whites provide what is called high biological value protein, meaning your body uses nearly all of it with very little waste byproduct left for the kidneys to process. 2 egg whites in the morning, lightly scrambled without added salt, give your body the amino acids it needs to maintain muscle without flooding your bloodstream with urea. Eating them before 9 a.m. takes advantage of your body's peak insulin sensitivity, which improves amino acid absorption and reduces metabolic waste even further. Number 2. Tofu. Tofu delivers plant-based protein with a much lower acid load than animal sources. A 2020 review in the Journal of Renal Nutrition confirmed that replacing animal protein with plant protein sources like tofu was associated with a measurable reduction in proteinuria and a slower GFR decline over a 6-month period. Use firm tofu, pan-sear it lightly in olive oil, and incorporate it into your lunch meal 3 to 4 times per week. Number 3. Cooked lentils in small portions. A quarter cup of cooked lentils provides just enough plant protein to support energy levels without overwhelming your kidneys. Their fiber content also supports gut health, which directly reduces the amount of uremic toxins that circulate back into the bloodstream. Have a small portion at dinner alongside your vegetables and let your kidneys rest through the night with a lighter processing load. The shift does not have to be dramatic to be effective. Even reducing your total daily protein by 20% while switching toward these cleaner sources can create a measurable difference in your next lab results. And now I need to tell you about the final and most dangerous lie on this list. It is not about what you eat or what supplement you take. It is about time itself, and how quietly it is being stolen from you every single day you spend waiting for things to get better on their own. What comes next may be the most urgent thing you hear in this entire video. Here is how the wait and see approach actually works inside your body, and why every single day you spend waiting is a day your kidneys cannot get back. When a doctor says let's monitor it and see how things go, it sounds responsible. It sounds measured and careful. But what is actually happening during that waiting period is anything but passive. Your kidneys are not sitting still. They are declining. Nephrons that scar over do not unscar. Filtration capacity that is lost is extraordinarily difficult to recover. The waiting period is not neutral time. It is active loss disguised as patience, and it is the most dangerous lie on this entire list precisely because it sounds so reasonable on the surface. Here is the biological reality of what waiting does. Every day that inflammation goes unaddressed inside your kidney tissue, more nephrons reach a point of fibrosis from which they cannot return. Your body does not have a mechanism to spontaneously reverse kidney scarring without specific nutritional and lifestyle signals telling it to do so. A 2023 report from the World Health Organization's Global Kidney Health Initiative found that patients with stage 3 to stage 5 CKD who delayed dietary and lifestyle intervention by even 6 months showed an average additional GFR loss of 4 to 7 points compared to those who began structured intervention immediately. 4 to 7 points in 6 months of simply waiting. That is an enormous and entirely preventable loss. So here's what taking action immediately actually looks like in practical terms, starting today. Number 1. Astragalus root. Astragalus contains active compounds called astragalosides, particularly astragaloside 4, which has been shown in a 2021 clinical study published by the Chinese Journal of Integrative Medicine to reduce kidney fibrosis markers and improve GFR scores in CKD patients after 12 weeks of consistent use. The mechanism is direct. Astragalosides inhibit TGF-beta1, which is the primary signaling protein responsible for triggering the scarring process in damaged kidney tissue. Brew 10 grams of dried astragalus root in 2 cups of hot water for 20 minutes each morning and drink it before breakfast. This gives the active compounds time to circulate before your kidneys begin their heaviest filtering work of the day. Number 2. Dandelion leaf tea. Dandelion leaf acts as a gentle natural diuretic that supports the kidneys in flushing accumulated waste without straining them the way pharmaceutical diuretics can. A study from the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that dandelion leaf extract significantly increased urinary frequency and volume within 5 hours of consumption, helping the kidneys clear urea and excess fluid more efficiently. Brew 1 teaspoon of dried dandelion leaf in a cup of warm water and drink it at midday, giving your body the afternoon hours to process and eliminate the increased fluid output comfortably. Number 3. Turmeric with black pepper. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, directly suppresses NF-κB inflammatory pathways inside kidney tissue. The addition of black pepper increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000% according to research published by the journal Planta Medica. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric and a small pinch of black pepper to warm water or a light broth each evening before bed, allowing its anti-inflammatory action to work overnight when your body is in its natural repair cycle. Every one of these steps costs you very little. But doing nothing costs you everything. I want you to remember something before this video ends. You are not a passive bystander in what happens to your kidneys. The 39-year-old man I told you about at the very beginning of this video, the one who refused dialysis and nearly doubled his kidney function in 51 days, he did not do it by waiting. He did it by acting, consistently and deliberately, one day at a time. I have put together a full detailed breakdown of exactly what he did, every step of his protocol, in a separate video that I will link right here. If you or someone you love is fighting kidney disease right now, that video may be the most important thing you watch this year. Do not wait to see it. Here is how to give your kidneys the best possible chance at recovery, faster than you ever thought was realistic at this stage. Everything we have covered today, the compounds, the vegetables, the protein adjustments, the daily actions that replace waiting with intention, they all work. But they work significantly faster when you stop thinking of yourself as someone who is simply managing a condition and start thinking of yourself as someone who is actively rebuilding one. A 2022 meta-analysis published by the International Society of Nephrology reviewed 47 separate studies on CKD recovery interventions and found one consistent pattern across all of them. patients who combined conventional medical treatment with structured nutritional and lifestyle support showed recovery rates up to 3 times faster than those relying on medication alone. 3 times faster. Not from a miracle drug. From doing exactly the kind of things we talked about in this video, consistently and without giving up. Morina contains isothiocyanates and quercetin, 2 compounds shown in a 2020 study from the African Journal of Traditional Medicine to reduce serum creatinine levels and improve antioxidant capacity in kidney patients after just 8 weeks of daily use. Add 1 teaspoon of Morina powder to warm water or a smoothie each morning before breakfast to allow absorption before your kidneys begin peak filtering activity for the day. Your doctors are not your enemy. But they are working within a system that does not always have time to tell you everything you deserve to know. So take what they give you, keep every appointment, follow your prescriptions, and then add to that foundation with everything you learned today. The 39-year-old man who nearly doubled his kidney function did exactly that. His full story, every detail of his 51-day protocol, is in the video linked right here. Go watch it. Your kidneys are worth fighting for. I want you to take a breath right now and recognize something important. The fact that you are here, watching this, searching for answers instead of sitting in silence, that already tells me something about who you are. You are a fighter. And fighters find a way forward. Everything shared in this video is a starting point, not a finish line. Work alongside your doctor, bring these ideas to your next appointment, ask questions, stay curious, and never let anyone convince you that your situation is hopeless. Because as we have seen today, the science says otherwise. Before you close this video, do one thing for me. Write down just one change you are going to make tomorrow morning. One small step is all it takes to begin. Leave it in the comments so we can cheer you on together. The full clinical story of the 39-year-old man who turned his kidneys around is waiting for you in the next video. I promise it will be worth your time. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you there very soon.